What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And after traveling for almost 3 weeks and throwing a little over 6,000 miles on the truck, I think that this is awesome. The magnets, the lights, sitting in TK's living room is awesome. Sometimes you like to travel a lot and do a lot of different things, but sometimes it's good just to be home. And that's where we're at now. And today's video, I'm going to talk about emissions. Let me get this camera set up a little bit better. We're going to talk about emissions, and I'm going to talk about a doctrine, not a doctrine, it's settled law called Federal Supremacy. So I've seen the comments, and I don't know if you know this or not, but one of the things that had to be decided on between all of the colonies and everybody that signed on to the United States Constitution before it was ratified was they had to agree to federal supremacy. That means that the federal law, the federal regulations, the federal doctrine is the law of the land. It is the highest law of the land. Nothing, absolutely nothing overrides it. And do you know what that includes? Oh, wait. You saw the title. You saw the thumbnail, right? Emissions. California, in terms of CAFE standards, CARB, all this other crap, bye-bye. That's gone. The Department of Justice will sue California into oblivion. This is no different. Texas is already on board with this, but we already know where Texas was going with that, as 95% of counties have got rid of the emission testing standard. In my own state, in Nevada, they are looking at guidance now on whether or not they're going to make cars have to go in this year after March in 2025. Excuse me. After March in 2025, if whether or not they will still have to go in and get emission testing on their vehicles. Prime example, now my Cadillac, Clark County is the only area where you have to do the emission testing. I think Reno too, maybe. But in Clark County, my Cadillac's not going to pass emissions because it's straight piped. It has no catalytic converters. It has a horrible tune on it. It's not going to pass emissions, okay? That said, I have a property and address in Pahrump, which is Nye County, and I could register it out there. That's what I was doing until I moved it to my company address at Nellis Air Force Base, which was within Clark County, meaning it needed to be tested for emissions. But I was able to renew my registration this week because they've pushed back whether or not you have to get emissions testing on your cars. Well, why did they do that? Because of the federal supremacy. I've already seen this. You've seen the people in my comments that people were supposed to go get emission testing in Pennsylvania, and they've pushed them back as well, because the states cannot make laws that override the federal government. Even though Gavin Newsom in California has made all these claims about, oh, we're going to Trump-proof California, good luck with that. You're going to bankrupt your state because the Department of Justice will come after you, the Supreme Court will rule, and then you're going to do exactly what the federal government said you were going to do anyway. So for all of you guys that are in the comments, I just want you to understand this. And I put this in the comments multiple times. I put federal supremacy, Google it. Federal supremacy, Google it. This is not difficult, all right? I don't care what state you're in, Oregon, Washington State, California, Minnesota makes us, I don't care. Massachusetts, don't care. New York, don't care. Federal supremacy. What the federal government dictates is what the states have to follow. And there's other awesome tools in the toolbox, even if the administration doesn't want to sue the states for saying, oh, we're still going to do emissions. All right, cool. You get no federal funding. You You get no money for your DOT projects. Good luck with that. As your roads and bridges and other stuff fall apart over the next 4 years, you get zero funding. And he can do that with like this. And I know you're going to say, oh, only Congress can do that. No, not when it becomes a matter of law. When it becomes a state is not following the Federal Supremacy Clause, the executive branch can be like, no money for you. And that's it. That's it. Now, it only holds it during that term of that administration. But how do you think California would do if they got zero federal funding? Something to think about. Believe me, Pennsylvania is not doing it. All these other states are not doing it. I can tell you for sure it's not happening. Oh, North Carolina. That was another state that you had to get emission testing. Unless you were in an area like where I was, like out at Fort Bragg, I didn't have to get emission testings. But when I lived in Charlotte, I did. Well, they've even now pushed that back. That's how I know that this is how you know when people go, well, there's nothing on this, TK. Cool. Check with your state and find out if your vehicle is due for emissions, if you can bring it in now, or if you have to, and see what they say. Because what we're seeing outside of California is a lot of the other states are waiting on guidance to find what happens. And that's going to happen day one. As soon as Lee Zeldin is confirmed in the Senate, done. He's going to put that guidance out. You can kiss that goodbye. The same thing that they've already put out with policy on if you want to delete the emissions off your vehicle, it's your property. You can do whatever you want with it. Shops that were already doing it, they're not going to have any risk of being unconstitutionally fined by an organization of a fourth branch of government that was never created by the Constitution. There is your civics lesson for the day. It's called Federal Supremacy. Look it up, Google it. Don't just take my word for it. I'm just telling you, facts are facts. Law is law. And for my green friends, we're going to go back to having smog in the 70s. There's going to be clouds over cities. People are going to be rolling coal lights. Tough shit. Tough shit. Tough shit. Sorry. Do I feel bad if there's acid rain in a city? Yeah, that's not happening. You're looking back at vehicles from the 60s and 70s that were not as efficient as vehicles today. If you deleted all of the emissions off of a direct injection or a fuel injected vehicle today, it's not putting out a microcosm of emissions that the vehicles from the 60s and the 70s did. So miss me with that argument. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Go Google Federal Supremacy so you can educate yourself so you don't look like a dumbass in somebody's comments or online, because somebody that actually understands it is going to check you and tell you, no, that's not how that works. And you're going to see a lot of these state governments are going to get the same thing here, and they're going to be like, damn, well, so much for that. And that money that those states are collecting from those emission tests, that's a wrap. Gravy train's over. Anyways, as always, stay petty, my friends.